My name is Dr. Mark P. Orbe. I am a professor of communication and diversity at Western Michigan University. As someone who has studied communication and diversity throughout my entire academic life, I've always been interested in how everyday interpersonal interactions impact people from diverse backgrounds. Microaggressions are brief, everyday exchanges, verbally and non-verbally, that send denigrating messages to others. While some people may think these are unintentional, subtle, and fairly harmless, they can have a great impact on the lives of others. Think about the analogy of a paper cut. One paper cut doesn't make too much of a difference, but paper cuts, day after day, week after week, think about the cumulative experience and harm and impact that has on someone's life. By definition, most microaggressions are unintentional. People are not aware that they are actually offending others. There are usually three types of microaggressions that people are unaware of. One is a microassault, one is a microinsult, and then one is a microinvalidation. Let's start with microassaults. So a microassault is when someone offends through a verbal or nonverbal message, sometimes unintentionally, but the effect is still there. A good example of a microassault is when a woman, out of curiosity, touches an African American woman's hair without her permission. By definition, a microinsult is a verbal message that conveys rudeness or insensitivity in seemingly harmless ways. It's almost like a backhanded compliment. For example, a US American might see an Asian American and compliment them on how good their English is, not knowing that they have been in this country for 3 or 4 generations. A microinvalidation, the third type of a microaggression, are comments, verbally or non-verbally, that nullify or psychologically harm other individuals. A good example of a microinvalidation is when someone, like a woman, is a doctor, but people assume that she's a nurse. Or when people enter a room and automatically assume that the man is in charge. Over the last 15 to 20 years, the research on microaggressions has been instrumental in increasing the awareness of how everyday brief interactions impact others. People have become more aware of their own communication in terms of how they might be using microassaults or microinsults or microinvalidations, and that's been important, so then people can relearn and re-socialize how they communicate with others. As a communication scholar, my hope has always been consistent: to make a difference in the lives of others, to help others communicate more competently, more appropriately, more effectively. Also provide them very clear tools, strategies, practices on how through everyday small ways in which we communicate with others, we can make a world of difference in those individuals that we come in contact with every day.